continent in one show. One show. Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show.
Hello there, many thanks for joining us on Razep Africa show today. My name is Dr. Joy Asoye, happy to be here, of course, to discuss very important issues on Africa this morning. Well, as you already know, we start with the Africa news update, and today we will start with South Africa declaring a national disaster day after that deadly flood following the torrential rains and flood that have killed at least 30 people and caused extensive damage to homes, roads and bridges. Authorities say that the declaration would allow the national government to coordinate relief and recovery efforts more effectively. The worst affected areas are northern provinces of Limpopo and Mpumalanga, although officials will confirm that several other provinces have also been impacted, raising concerns about further disruptions. Now, moving away from that story, floods also have displaced elsewhere in southern part of Africa, in Mozambique, which is also grappling with severe flooding that has displaced more than 300 people in Gaza province alone. Weeks of heavy rain have submerged large areas, forcing families into temporary shelters such as schools and churches. The scale of the disaster has prompted the President Daniel Chapo, to cancel his trip to the World Economic Forum in Davos, as officials have warned that the nearly 600,000 people across 2 provinces have now been affected. In the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, government forces have re-entered the strategic town of Uvira just over a month after it was seized by Rwandan-backed M23 rebels. Residents say Congolese soldiers and allied militants returned following the rebels' withdrawals. Uvira's capture in December had raised fears of wider regional stability, coming amid ongoing fighting that has killed thousands and displaced hundreds of thousands in the past year. Now, in the Central African Republic, the Constitutional Court has validated President Faustin Archange's victory in last month's presidential election, granting him a 3rd term in office. The court rejected appeals from opposition candidates who alleged fraud, confirming that Taudara won nearly 78% of the vote, while his closest contest challenger secured just over 13% of the vote. Now, turning to economic diplomacy, Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates have signed a memorandum of understanding to explore cooperation in port development, maritime logistics, and digital solutions. The agreement, signed during Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, is expected to strengthen trade ties and modernize Nigeria's maritime infrastructure, as both countries seek deeper economic collaboration. Now, dozens of Liberians named on the U.S. worst list worst of the list in the migration related development. More than 40 Liberians in the United States have reportedly been placed on the U.S. Department of Homeland Security worst of the worst criminal list among an intensified crackdown on illegal immigration. The move has raised concerns among Liberians' community leaders who warn that labeled risk stigmatization, a long-established community that has contributed significantly to the American society. That's it for the news update this morning here on Razep Africa. We'll go for a short break. When we return, we'll discuss business development across Africa and how to get better on it. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Of the continent in one show. Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show.
Now it's time to get to the crux of the conversation this morning. Africa is home to over 1.4 billion people, with the youngest population in the world, over 60% under the age of 25. Yet the continent contributes less than 3% of global trade, despite holding 30% of the world's mineral resources and vast agricultural potential. At the same time, the African diaspora sends home over $98 billion annually in remittances, a figure that exceeds foreign direct investment in many African countries. The challenge is not lack of opportunity, but trust gaps, weak distribution systems, fragmented markets, and under-leveraged partnerships. Today's conversation on Razep Africa focuses on how Africa can move from promise to performance. Our guest, Soji Amoson, is a seasoned business leader whose career spans FMCG distribution, international trade facilitation, entrepreneurship, and community empowerment. From leading market expansion initiatives to launching the Thai Nigeria Trade Center and championing youth-focused agriculture and diaspora-backed business ecosystem. He represents a practical voice on what works and what must change. So today, I welcome you to the Razep Africa studio. It's so good to have you join us.
It is my great pleasure having me here. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. I am happy that you are here. At least we'll explore business development across Africa, the diaspora investment above everything, and how human resources and institutional frameworks can be leveraged for measurable and scalable impact across Africa. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Joy, for having me.
Again, I say don't thank me. I am most excited that you're here. So let's get to the crux of the matter.
Yeah.
Africa has so much potential. Like I read earlier, the potential are vast in resources, natural resources that we have. Like research has also shown, leveraging is our biggest problem, and that's one thing you've been trying to do, or been doing really across continents, in bringing together diasporans and all of that, and across the world, bringing them to understand what Africa really has and how they can leverage on it. Just give me an overview, first of all, of your engagement. How is it like? Are you meeting people who are like, you know what, I see the potential and I am ready to invest, or people who see the risk first before the potential? And of course, the risk abounds.
Yeah, just like you have mentioned, in Africa, we have as much as possible potential that are feasible to leverage on for diaspora, for foreign direct investment. But the major challenges has been the basics of trust. Who do we deal with? Who do I invest my money with? But for this recent government, I want to give a kudos to them, because Nigeria has been removed from the negative thought in code for investors, to have an open hand to come and operate and do businesses here. But coming back home, the challenges are most of the entrepreneurs that have business owners is for them to have a kind of arrangement. Their business report, the way they package their businesses, are they ready for investments? That's number one question. If at all government is opening ways for people to access those funds internationally and locally, is their businesses ready for investment?
Absolutely.
Most of them doesn't have their daily records. They don't have their potentials on how to put their businesses together. Having a financial record. What is your daily gain? What are you bringing into your businesses? So that is just where we come in to tell people that this is an opportunity open for you, and it is how you can sustain what is available for you in the diaspora.
I mean, we keep talking about how Africa has one of the fastest growing consumer markets globally. Yet, when we talk about intra-Africa trade, it remains at just in fact, below 20%.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very concerning, especially when we've talked. I mean, we have the AFTA, the Africa Trade Agreement, that gave us hope at the time. Oh, yes, this is a framework that will give seamless intra-continental trade. But that has not been implemented to that level where we can appreciate. We've also celebrated, or rather moved towards that conversation of access. Let's have seamless access between countries. But the visa, you're Nigeria, the visa process in coming into Nigeria, if you are not from Nigeria, whether you're African or not, is so stringent. And we also have been talking about a currency, a unified currency in Africa. So there are several issues that face intra-trade. What would you say, in your words, would be the one solution that would trickle down and see better results over other issues?
Well, I will start from the level that you started from, which is the consumer capacity of Africa, especially Nigeria. There is no place in the part of the world I've ever been that the people over there will always tell me they know that is market is feasible in Nigeria because of the population. And that is where the trend of fast-moving consumer goods is. Now, the government, the Africa come together, that they should come together and let's operate as one body. But the major challenges we have now is about logistics. I have my goods produced in Nigeria. How can I move this good from Nigeria to my neighboring country? Let's say, for example, Ghana. What am I going to go through along my way? You understand the logistics issues, the issue of clearing, the issue of the NAFDAC issues. How do I get my products approved to be satisfied?
Exactly.
So that the global plate can recognize my product.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, then we come to level of branding. How do I brand my products? What are the content? Is there any control, both internal and external control, that can give my product what it was outside there for people to access it? Is it attractive on the shelf of the at the stores? How is it looking at? Then the issue of technology we are talking about today is just a pity that most of our youth, instead of them to have being given themselves to a kind of technology that will expose them to have direct access to business like mine, but they are using it the other way. That they call the Yahoo aspect of it.
Because your government across Africa have not been intentional about teaching them or having technological hubs that address these issues. So they are, of course, if you leave space, if you leave a lacuna, you would see them go to learn all sorts of things to make ends meet. But the potential there has not been tapped intentionally by our government. So I know the financial fraud is there. There's so much we can do positively in the tech world, and and our government have to be responsive to it. If you leave a lacuna like they have left, that's why they would rather pick the fraud instead.
Well, the truth of the matter is that yes, government are trying their best. They are trying to expose the youth.
Which government are we? When we talk Africa,
I will still use my country, Nigeria, as a practical example.
Right.
Look at what the young man is doing, the Minister of Innovations and Technology. Look at what they are doing. We have so many hubs being set up, even though there are still some challenges that comes with it. You understand? There's no proper orientation that, okay, after this training, there is a provision for you. We have so many opportunities. The 3MTT program that is being trained about, the youth are being trained. But after the training, what is next?
Exactly.
Are they really engaging them?
But I mean, I should expect I should expect that the trainings it should be one that culminates to self-reliance.
Of course. It's self-reliance. You can't imagine somebody that you pick from a street and he agreed to you that he's ready to be trained. After the training, you give him the skill. There's no place for him to expose himself.
Right.
You have to let the person that you train, you expose him to where he's going to use the
Do we have
the
enough?
knowledge.
Do we have enough mentors? I mean, when in the tech, anyway,
tech area.
I don't want to annoy a lot of people because I know that when I say these things,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are doing their bit in their own little spaces,
Of course.
you know, to ensure that
Of
young
course.
people are groomed
Yeah.
and are better resources to their
Yeah.
communities, environment, and the continent at large. But that we digressed a bit. We're still talking about business development across Africa and how you perceive the landscape.
The landscape is very wide, and Nigeria being where the country I am from is so opportune that anywhere you mention Africa, the first place that is going to come to their mind is Nigeria. Because why? We have so many potential that is untapped in terms of agriculture, in terms of mining, in terms of energy. Name them. It's very, 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 very wide. But the investors are looking at the soft landing like the government is giving to them. You want to have free tax for some time. You want to have access to register your own company even by yourself. Identify yourself, just go online and register. But is that enough?
Absolutely not.
But you need an established entity that have the experience, that have the know-how, that have the good management of business, that have the good history. That is the people that the diaspora, the FDI is looking to work with. And that is where our service come in, where I mentor people on how to leverage on those type of opportunities.
Okay, so let's get to the trade partnerships and the global positioning. Your contribution was it was a key role in the launching of the Thai-Nigeria Trade Center. Yeah. So what gap were you hoping that initiative would fill?
You know, if you look at Thailand and Nigeria, we almost have the same kind of environment, terrain, in the sense that Thailand are very vast in agriculture. They produce mostly, before the government stopped importation of rice to Nigeria.
Yes.
We consume up to 80% of what they produce in Thailand. But when this stopped, we were looking at how can we leverage to bring their technical know-how, their expertise to Nigeria, to set up the agricultural hub, and then a kind of trade center where we're going to have the Thai-Nigeria Trade Center in Nigeria, like in Lagos and in Abuja, which is underway now, where we have signed an agreement with some of the Thai partners for them to come on board and set up their businesses. And we are trying to align, because the major challenges is the issue of getting their goods across to the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
again, that logistics you mentioned earlier.
The logistic I mentioned, and I provide a better solution for them because we're going to do a groupage. You have a product, I have a product, everybody comes together, and then we put it under one group, and we do the clearing for them. We bring their product to Nigeria, and they will begin to sell at a very large rate. And by extension, we are providing more job opportunity for people.
Absolutely, and that is why I need us to address these logistical problems that often happen.
Yeah.
We're in the 21st century where I can sit here on Amazon, I can order anything and it comes.
Yeah.
Why is it that when it comes to large scale, like you are saying, those kind of investment and trade exchange, we start having issues of logistics? What should be addressed and addressed immediately so that we could have seamless trade and a robust economy?
I think the first challenges that Nigeria is having is because of the high exchange rate that we are dealing with. Because as a Thai, for example, I am a Thai producer and manufacturer. I can produce at a very high rate, and you expect me to sell at a low rate.
Absolutely. No business person should do that.
No business want to do that. So another part of it is that, yes, the hustle and the challenges of going through the due process of getting your product registered. You are not known. You don't know the system.
Absolutely.
You understand? So you have to know somebody that knows the way out. Where I come in as a person that is well established in terms of getting products both locally and outside, get them registered with NAFDAC, with SON, that can control the goods. If I'm able to certify these, I can tell them, okay, let's bring this together. I have my clearance. Then let's do 4 or 220 container at a go. once the documentation is perfect.
Right.
And I will get to the border in Nigeria here. I will go and sleep and give it to my clearing agent, and it's going to bring the goods to me. And we'll begin to sell without any challenges. So that is where our services comes in there.
Okay,
yeah.
That's quite noble. But
Yeah.
I mean, Thailand has a very vibrant business ecosystem and agriculture as well.
Yeah.
If you have to go into lessons, having engaged with both countries, Nigeria and Thailand,
yeah.
what are business approaches would you say we can learn from the Thai people so that we too can emulate a seamless business ecosystem as well?
Yeah, honestly, there's this opportunity I'm working on presently now. And I tag that opportunity the Niger Agric Hub.
Niger Agric Hub,
yeah.
Right.
That is, I got to know about that in Thailand. In Thailand, they have their former king have a project called the King's Project. What happened in that place? They have a vast land where they are doing all type of farming. You understand? You have the supermarkets there, you have, name it, you have health facilities, the infrastructure within that axis is so superb, to the extent that even the blind, the deaf, the nail, they are working, and they have provisions for them. Wow. You understand? They have provisions for them, they are on salary. You understand?
Everybody has a role to play.
Everybody has a role to play.
Capacities and values to contribute. That's
same company, in a very simple location. You know, the foreign part of it, I even saw where they are doing capacity building training for people that are identified that, oh, I'm ready to work for government, not for free. They just pick you from the street and they pick you there, and you're working and they're giving you, your screaming is guaranteed.
Right.
You understand? You have a place for you to settle down with your just simple family. And you are maintaining the government farm, and everything is going on steady. That is why they are producing more than what they can consume on a daily basis.
But isn't that our goal? Isn't that what we hope to get to, where we would have satisfied local consumption to a point where we can export? Because I remember we had the conversation with certain agri experts who were hammering on export. At the time, Nigeria's rice, we could not even afford here. It was so high, it was scarce. So how can we get to that point where we have settled local consumption and we have in surplus? And I'm not even talking the world now. Let us feed Africa.
You know, even before you feed Africa, I have this notion that for me, if you want to satisfy your environment, you start from within first.
Absolutely.
You understand? Now, Nigeria have that opportunity. But most of the investors that we have in the agricultural sector in Nigeria, their highs is outside there. You know why? The exchange rate. They want to make their money. Because that's why they are investing into the business. But if government want to really deal with it, government need not to deal with the portfolio farmer in quotes. Let me put it that way.
Because again, we've addressed this where the portfolio farmer seem to have everything right. The real farmer will not remember to have his record right, to remember to tell you where the farms are and all of that.
That is where the capacity building training comes in.
Absolutely.
If government is ready, government is going to train the farmers that are producing locally to meet up with the local consumption. Because you can't expect me to bring so much money and I invested my money, I want to wait until when the local consumption comes in, what level. You understand? I want to produce to meet up with the foreign standard so that I can export and gain my money back.
Right.
You understand? But if government really want to do it, they have to deal with local farmers.
So G is a case of what do you put at first? Is it the chicken or the egg? Because when we talk exchange rates, first of all, improved, enhanced productivity would also increase or strengthen our dollar. Our naira, I apologize, would strengthen our currencies across Africa. This isn't even just Nigeria. So if we have a problem of exporting and trading in our currency to a point where our currencies are strengthened enough, and then the forex would now be at par at least with other parts of the country, business will be seamless. What do we do first? What do you suggest we do first?
Honestly,
address or go back to subsidize the naira, Is that what you would suggest? Should we go back subsidizing the dollar to ensure that trade is done? And isn't that foolish because we are just running around in circles?
Well, the point is very clear. You cannot deal without the local content.
Absolutely.
It is your local content that can strengthen your currency.
Absolutely.
So if we are able to start producing to level of 40 to 60% of what we are consuming in Nigeria, why should I go ahead and want to import? You understand? And if all the investors that are coming in the agricultural sectors, in the oil sector, in the mining sector, are coming in based on building the local content, there's not going to be any reason why our Nairas is not going to be stronger.
Right.
You understand? Because I am producing here, what you need, you come in for it, and I tell you my condition. It's either you buy in Naira or nothing.
Are we there yet to have it? Because I mean, the oil and gas, where we have a bit of leverage, we have the sweet crude, we have abundance of gas, so we have some sort of leverage. I would have thought that if we are serious about being a country that thrives, that is export driven, that has a vibrant export driven economy, we would leverage on, first of all, the mainstay oil, whether we like it or not. It is what's keeping the Why can't we leverage on it to say, you know what, we can no longer purchase or sell in foreign currency. Come use our currency so that we can somewhat, strengthen our currency as well. So what would you say that trade hubs can do in advising government, if there's such an advice, because I don't know, what can trade hubs across Africa do in advising government to look inwards and strengthen, like you call it, local content?
Honestly, kudos to Dangote Group. They have really shown that something to strengthen our country.
It took blood, sweat, and tears. It took Dangote becoming an activist.
The way I started, I said kudos to him.
Right.
He's a strong man. And if we have more of Dangote in all the sectors, why not? I was opportune to speak with one of the strongest investors, facilitators in the country, in the world. He told me, Soji, if you can facilitate mining for us, what we are coming to do, we are not coming to come and export your raw materials. We are coming to come and mine it in Nigeria, and we begin to do it the way other countries are doing it. So if we start looking inward that way, like what government did, they just launched a mining site in Lagos. They want to start refining. That is the way to it.
Yeah, I think Nasarawa also had that. Nasarawa had that arrangement with some Chinese company.
Of course.
Chinese company. Now, but well, I just wanted to say, I mean, why can't the framework be so seamless, even for local industrialists to invest in the continent? Dangote had to cry out at certain times. We saw, you and I read from even the transporters, everyone, the marketers, fuel marketers, everyone was positioned to it's worse than discourage at this point. So how can we have, I mean, a lot of people have over the years been benefiting from the rot in the system. So how can trade hubs, I go back there again, such as you are championing, ensure that government address these issues that would, bring about growth and trust amongst investors and all of that?
Well, we know that we have some policies that support trade hubs in Nigeria, but people that come in, mostly they don't access this policy the way they're supposed to access them. Like Dangote started on a very long note. Look at where he is today. You understand? He has some both local supporter and the foreign support. You understand? Because technically, he will not get it right if those technical partners are not on board. You understand? So this is where governments can make it happen. Like, I know they are in Darfur now doing the economic summit in the world and stuff. They can have some partnership and arrange a business matchmaking. You know, when it's coming from government, there's a security aspect of it.
Absolutely.
The person that is coming will know I am secure because I have the
I'm working with government.
Government. So it is government that is bringing Mr. A and Mr. B together, and they make provisions for them. Go and do this. And government is sitting down to watch them. There's going to be a good success about it.
Okay.
But if an investor just come in and just come on his own, and there's no support from the government, no legal backing and stuff, you just want to register and operate your company. Some people are there, they want to just, destroy.
But we've also had instances where government policies have been twisted by individuals who should encourage it. So, I just want to take you to the next question.
Okay.
From your interaction as the Made in Africa, Canada, Nigeria ambassador, what would you say is the biggest challenge when people, are trying to this issue of trust, accountability, and transparency, trying to invest in Africa? Is it a challenge that it still exists as we speak, or over the years we've addressed it and everybody's like, you know what, Africa is safe to come in and invest and do business, and you would get a return on investment?
Yeah, honestly, the issue of trust, it has been the major issue that most of the foreign direct investors they are dealing with. And the provisions of solutions to it has been made by what you just mentioned now, and even from all the way from Canada. If you notice that Canadian businesses are not that noticed in Africa, we have less than 3% of it according to our own research. You understand? And they're looking at who are viable, who have that business that is well established, that we can partner with. We can operate our business over there, and the same thing, we can boost their own businesses over there. Why are we doing this? It's just a two-way thing, trade exchange.
Right.
You understand? You have technology, we have the land. Let's come together and make things happen.
They don't have just technology, they have money too.
They have money too,
They have resources, they have expertise that we need.
Everything. All we need to do is just to align with them. Just to align with them.
Yes, I mean, if in one breath we say align with them, in the other breath we remember that, they have taken over the entire place. We don't have our young people even learning. It's almost like some sort of colonialism and all of that. Do you often hear those narratives?
Well, I heard those narratives from other parts of the continent that I would not like to mention here.
Why?
You understand?
I mean, you can't mention this is Razep Africa.
Well, the aspect of like the Chinese company, most of the Chinese companies that we have in the country are dealing with people in an unruly manner. You understand? Some people cannot even come out to explain themselves. Some die at the point of working because the policies out there is against them.
In the protection of your law enforcement sometimes.
Exactly. And it's just so very, very, very so sad that even the so-called law enforcement agency that we have working with them,
they don't even know whose taxpayers they are working for.
And that is why I am telling the government that government can still do more. If government do a matchmaking, the policies are there. You cannot come into this country as a foreigner and you say you want to take charge of the old shares of your company. It's not possible.
Absolutely.
A local person must be in line with your setting up of your business. And what is that person doing there is to make sure that the policy of labor, in terms of labor, in terms of taking care of your workers and everything is worth taking care of. And everybody that is working with you, you are following the due process to take care of them.
Absolutely.
So that is just what is that on that aspect.
Well, you founded the Empowering Youth Through Modern Agriculture initiative. What's that about, and what did you hope to achieve with that? Well,
we have started some times back, and what gave me the inspiration was while I was in Thailand, I saw some young people, young families having their own garden at their backyard. Most of these things, they don't go to market to buy tomatoes, pepper and stuff.
Because they would have harvested from their backyard.
So I tell the youth, while we were growing up back days in primary school, When you gain admission to primary school, what the school will tell you for you to come with your what? Your cutlass,
your cutlass and knives,
your
machetes.
your machetes and your broom.
Exactly.
And what is that telling you? That we want to teach you our way of life in this country. Critics, where we started from. But this value is no longer there. So that is
because, frankly speaking, your child, would you want to carry machete at the moment?
But
they have also evolved. Have we evolved with them?
In my own house, especially my second son, the day I affected yam, it was like, Daddy, what is this? I said, it is yam. This is how they harvest it. And he has been eating it.
No, they often think it just grows, it is manufactured
we
in some
need to
lab.
expose them to it. This is the reason behind setting up that group, and we are using it to sensitize the youth. It's not enough for you to go to supermarket and begin to buy branded cooks and farm produce.
You too can contribute.
You can make it happen.
Exactly.
You can make it happen. So that's the brain behind that.
Okay, there's so much more we have to discuss, and I'm taking this conversation to the Made in Africa, that's Afri-Canada Expo that's coming up, that you are championing as well, happening on the 10th to 12th of June 2026 in Calgary, Alberta. That's far away. But let's have an idea of what this event is about. Unlocking Potential, the African-Canada Partnership for Prosperity. I don't want to sing the Na Canada. Na Canada. But what are those partnership opportunities and potentials right there for young people to unlock as this event promises?
Well, I mentioned the other time that within our research that we made, we discovered that the Canadians' businesses are not that relevant in Africa.
In Africa, right.
And that's because of trust or because of some other challenges.
Are the Canadians ready to do business with Africa?
We have a lot of them that have identified with us. We want to serve as a bridge. You know, the way we put it, we don't just put it Canada, Nigeria, we put it Canada, Africa. You understand? We want to be a bridge that businesses we connect from Canada and Africa together. You understand? So we have made every possible mix possible that the young people and the business owner are ready to explore Canadian market from Africa, and also Canada that want to explore African market.
From
this is the place where they will meet, they will come together, and then they will have a kind of agreement. It's a 3 days event where we have B2B and then G2B platform.
What does that mean?
Business to business.
Business to business. I mean, I tried to remember. I was trying to think. I said, okay, P2P is peer to peer, but I wonder what B2B was. Business to business. So collaboration.
We're looking at the agriculture, the mining, the tech, even education is part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so exchange of trade, but we are being started to make sure that we do a due diligence of those that want to join, to register and attend this event. We must make sure that they are well-established businesses in Africa, not just a business that is not out there. You know, we have so many businesses that have already registered, but no physical office that they are operating.
Absolutely.
So it is
and unfortunately, those are the businesses, just like the portfolio farmers for the agricultural sector. These are the businesses that often know how to reach out to several other companies across the world. And when you look at it, you're like, no, Nigerians are scammed just because you have not, and I'm happy with what you're doing. In the same vein, you are also having an event coming up in March. That's the Royal Business Matchmaking Meeting. That's happening in Belgium, March. I will be personally there, so I'm excited. So let's have an idea about this Royal Business Matchmaking Meeting and what you hope to achieve as well.
What we are hoping to achieve is this. It's just a special selected people, business making people. We want to, matchmaking direct in a very simple role. There are not many. We are talking of dredging businesses. Real estate, modern agriculture, logistics. So because Europe are full of like, in terms of shipping line and stuff, they are much, very, very well established in that, even the way they handle the agricultural system. So we are setting up a very simple and very executive meeting between business and business, and then there's going to be a business exchange where we have the European coming into Africa through this meeting.
That's exciting,
Yeah.
but this does not say anything about Africa. Although I see the Nigerian flag right there, the EU flag as well. Yeah. But how is it going to also focus on African business, or together, not particularly targeting African business and the potential therein?
Building the Africa that we want.
Right.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show.
Just go for emergency. Sorry.
What?
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show.
Welcome back from that. If you're just joining us, this right here is Razep Africa, where we've been discussing business development across Africa, how young people can be part of unlocking Africa's growth engine, building trust for sustainable impact. My guest this morning has been Soji Amosun. I hope I pronounced it well.
Yeah,
I struggled.
Yeah, you tried.
Yes. So we've been discussing so much. We took this conversation now to the Royal Business Matchmaking meeting happening in Belgium as well. Yeah. Like you said, the whole idea behind it all is Africa, pushing Africa, getting everyone to understand how vibrant and the potentials in the continent.
Yes, yes. The focus is building the Africa that we want.
Right.
We have to be self-sufficiency in terms of our food, in terms of our technology and everything. And we need to be more effective in terms of exchange of training. You know, we have professionals, and when we have professionals, let them come in, train our people, train our young ones on how to apply the technology in all aspects of their businesses.
Right.
You know, we're bringing businesses together so that we can expose our people to the rightful way of doing business, so that we can have more better output as what we can feed ourselves.
There's so much you're doing, especially promoting Africa, and I'm really excited about that, because I'm all for Africa. However, what collaborations and partnership do you have with governments across Africa? I mean, you mentioned mining, you mentioned the agricultural sector, technology, education, healthcare, and all of that. But do you have collaborations that would enhance seamless, because trust comes and credibility comes when you have government backing this business. Again, even though we also have our issues, even when government comes in, but I mean, it's better than dealing with individuals. What collaborations and partnership do you have with governments across Africa, so that people would trust you to say, you know what, because of this collaboration, he has government's backing, I can accept that he's credible?
Well, you know, all these things that I'm mentioning to you, I will not come to a
national television, Razep Africa, where you're being watched from across Africa.
So just to be talking without having an access to government. So we have the backup, we have the understanding. You know, you mentioned the issue of having your officers, when you are traveling for such a program.
Absolutely.
We align ourselves with the government, letting them know this is what we have. And this is what we want to benefit. We want to share together with your government. So we have the backup. We're working with the AU, we're working with the European Union and stuff, all of them. Even the Canadian government, they are in support of what we're doing.
That's very exciting. And what has been the reception from government and the AU? Because there's one thing to say AU knows, but what's it been like?
The truth of the matter is that I was one of the ambassadors, and he told me anything that pertains to issue of visas, I don't want to hear it. There's a department that take care of that. What is he trying to tell me? I must provide my people that I want to bring on board.
Vet them yourself.
Yes, I must vet them. That is where my company, comes in. We vet them. We make sure that if they tell us this is what we do, and they deliver it accordingly before we give it to any other person to process their application for them.
Absolutely.
We make sure we do our due diligence perfectly before we take up anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But have you had instances where you take these people who are supposed to be reputable, credible business people who are supposed to come, leverage and matchmake and get to network with other business people, and when they get there, they're like, bye. I know they follow you, go back Africa.
Of the truth.
They had such.
Of the truth, we always defend ourselves right from beginning, because we started not quite long, and we'll make sure that we block all those loopholes. And it's not that somebody gets into US or you get to Canada with us and we seize your passport. We don't do that, because we know you have a tie.
Of course.
A tie where you are coming from.
The credibility of the individual.
Yes. So that is what we depend on. But notwithstanding, we still have provisions for that if that is about to happen, there's a way to just, draw them and then they're back home.
I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask on air what it is you do, but let's go to individuals who may want to participate in not just the Royal Business Matchmaking meeting happening in March in Belgium, but also the Afri-Canada Expo happening in June, 10th to 12th. It's just a 2-day event, but I'm knowing you now. It promises to be very exciting. For those who are listening to you right now and are wondering, how can I reach you? How can I be part of this?
Well, the program is, we have our website running, that is Made in Africa. It's on the website, and then I can as well give them my contact number for them to reach out to me. It's 080-343-60575. That's my number. They can reach out to me. Okay.
Can you say the number again and the website? The website is Made in Africa. If you just go to www.madeinafrica.com, you will get more information about that.
Made in Africa Expo Canada.
Right. Made in Africa Expo Canada.
Yes.
Right.
You get the details there. And then they can as well reach out to me directly. It's 080-343-60575.
Right.
That's my direct mobile
But for those still wondering, what do I have to do or act like before I can approach you? Who is eligible, basically?
A proper business person that is legally registered and is in operation for the past 3, 4, 5 years.
5 years,
yes,
right.
And you must present your business profile, your business certificate, and everything. We want to see your financial record to make sure that you are in the business that you presented to us.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, you'll be vetted. You'll be vetted and all of that.
Yes.
Does it matter the sector, or come everyone as long as you're a business?
Yes, as long as you are in business, especially agriculture, mining, tech, education, creative, health. So just make sure you reach out to us, and then we are going to provide you accordingly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being part of the program. It's been wonderful having this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Soji Amoson.
Thank you.
Can I pronounce it better?
Yeah, you are trying.
I'll get better as time goes on. I just prefer to call you Soji to avoid stories that touch. But thank you for being part of the program here on Razep Africa. Be rest assured we'll be back next time to discuss more. We've been discussing unlocking Africa's growth engine and what you too can do to be part of all of this. I am Dr. Joy Asaye saying thank you so much for being part of this. Reach out to Soji and be part of what's going on across the world and give your own beat and contribution to Africa. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show.